D. Moore Docs presents Wonder Number 22, the complete story of Disney Channel, how one TV network raised a generation. Black, silence, then I'm. Before they can even finish the sentence, millions of people watching already know the next words, and you're watching Disney Channel. Look, let's keep it brutally honest right out of the gate, shall we? When people reminisce about growing up across the turn of the millennium, they love to romanticize Saturday morning cartoons or prime-time family sitcoms, but a massive generational consensus points to something entirely different as the ultimate shared television ritual of childhood. It did not happen in a movie theater with overpriced popcorn and sticky floors. It happened in living rooms across the world, sitting on a carpeted floor, staring at a television screen while a network of brightly colored original sitcoms, animated series, and larger than life stars presented the ultimate daydream. They showed us that growing up could be magical, musical, and entirely driven by kids just like us. For millions of kids growing up across America and far beyond its borders, tuning in to Disney Channel was not just watching television, it was participating in a massive, interconnected cultural empire. For many adults, it was easy to see Disney Channel was just another children's cable network, but the real story reveals something much bigger: how a single brand managed to build a home away from home for an entire generation. Now, long before streaming rewrote television, before algorithms decided what we watched, before every kid carried a screen in their pocket, one network quietly became the definitive home of childhood. And there is always more to the story. Stories have always been among humanity's oldest companions, but television changed how ordinary people gathered around them. To understand how Disney Channel captured a generation, we have to travel back to its origins. The network launched in 1983 as a platinum cable service, a subscription only destination designed to carry the timeless magic of Disney's vault directly into the living room without commercial interruptions. For its first decade and a half, it was an exclusive club. Families paid extra to bring classic animation, vintage serials, and family friendly movies into their homes. But as the 1990s progressed, the media landscape shifted beneath its feet. Basic cable was expanding rapidly, and niche networks were proving that children wanted programming built specifically for them. Disney made the bold pivot, transitioning toward basic cable distribution and opening its doors to millions of new households. That evolution unlocked everything that followed. By shedding its premium paywall and embedding itself in basic cable packages across the country, Disney Channel transformed from an exclusive luxury into an accessible everyday destination. It paved the way for an unprecedented golden age of original programming that would make the network an inexpectable cultural titan of the millennium. I don't know, I should have said a better word. Indisputable. Yeah, okay, anyways. To fully grasp what Disney Channel became in the 2000s, we have to look further back at the foundational philosophy of Walt Disney himself. Now, Walt never viewed entertainment as something you simply watched. He believed entertainment should be a place you could visit. It was the driving logic behind Disneyland in 1955 and Walt Disney World in 1971. He wanted to construct physical environments where families could step out of the mundane real world and walk directly into an immersive, safe, meticulously curated fantasy. Now, for decades, that philosophy lived in the theme parks and cinematic vaults, but by the late 20th century, media consumption had changed, and the concept of a place needed to migrate into the home. In many ways, Disney Channel eventually came to embody that exact same philosophy. The network stopped acting merely as a channel broadcasting shows and began functioning as a daily destination. Just like walking down Main Street, USA, tuning into Disney Channel offered a familiar, comforting geography where every character was a neighbor, every afternoon felt like a weekend, and the living room carpet became a permanent theme park footprint. It was a place where kids didn't just consume stories, but they took up residence. In its earliest years on basic cable, the network still relied heavily on classic vault animation, acquired series, and vintage reruns. But as the millennium approached, leadership recognized that syndication alone could not capture a new generation. As the network broadened its reach, I should say, it steadily increased its investment in original productions, gradually transforming from a rerun hub into an original programming powerhouse. That transformation changed everything. Instead of watching classic cartoons from decades past, kids were suddenly tuning into fresh contemporary shows created specifically for them. That crucial evolution is the exact spark that turned the channel into a cultural phenomenon. Now, the stage was finally set. All Disney Channel needed now was a generation of original shows that children could call their own. Let us talk about how this empire was actually built. Now, by the late 90s and early 2000s, the creative minds behind children's television understood the secret language of the audience better than anyone in Hollywood. They knew the rhythms, the comic timing, and the deep desires for children who felt like hyper energetic versions of the kids sitting next to them in class is what they needed. Television was shifting beneath their feet. Children were spending less time passively receiving what broadcast networks offered and more time looking for distinct identities on cable. The question was simple: how do we build an entire channel around a legacy of magic without boring a generation of media savvy kids to tears? The answer came by looking at the changing habits of youth culture. Kids were not just watching television, they were looking for a community. They were looking for characters who understood their daily triumphs and middle school disasters. What if the network placed the power directly into the hands of relatable kids and teenagers? The pitch was clean, high concept, and tailor made for the youth audience, a continuous channel offering an original sitcom, animated series, and original movies made specifically for families. It was a premise designed to resonate with a generation that felt ignored by traditional adult media. It whispered a seductive promise into the ear of every kid watching: you belong here. Yeetie. Now, back into my real stuff, my voice again. Every great empire needs an identity, and Disney Channel gave its audience one of the most iconic branding tools in television history. Forget traditional network bumpers or sterile corporate loops. Disney Channel used the Wand ID. That Wand ID was a cultural phenomenon in its own right because it was a glowing magical moment of participatory joy. Seriously. Stars from every show on the network would take a glowing prop one, trace the iconic Mickey Mouse ears across the screen, and deliver the immortal phrase, "I'm new star and you're watching Disney Channel." Ooh, ooh, no, no. You know what I'm saying? Seeing your favorite actors from Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, or The Sweet Life on Deck set up to draw those ears made the network feel personal. It was a bridge between the viewer on the couch and the star on the screen. Played with high energy smiles and genuine excitement, the One IDs became appointment viewing between commercial breaks. The One ID represented the ultimate physical seal of belonging in the universe of Disney Channel. You were part of the family. It was the dream setup for a generation that wanted magic integrated into their everyday lives. Seriously. Now, or I should say, and then, of course, there was the crown jewel of the network, the Disney Channel Original Movie, or DCOM. Every Friday night premiere was punctuated by massive anticipation. DCOMs were not just movies, they were cultural events. Think about what a DCOM actually was. It was a cinematic universe built for the weekend, long before streaming services made binge watching standard practice. Families and kids tuned in together to experience worlds where basketball stars could be witches, high school musicals could break out in the cafeteria, camp experiences could change your life, and time travel was just an accidental way. They did not just watch a movie, they participated in a global premiere night. They debated the plot twist at school on Monday. They bought the soundtracks. They memorized the choreography. They tested the limits of what a cable network could produce on a television budget. Looking back, the DCOM library reads like an extraordinary catalog of childhood milestones, capturing the exact kinetic magical energy of growing up completely. Now, it's easy to look at Disney Channel through the cozy lens of nostalgia, but its true genius lies in the emotional core of its golden era lineup. Every major show gave its audience something vital. Okay, if like we can remember them, started with Lizzie McGuire gave us a mirror for awkward adolescence, validating every inner doubt and middle school blunder through animated confessional commentary. Then we have That's So Raven gave us confidence and comedy, breaking barriers with a psychic lead who treated every outfit and scheme as a masterclass in joy. Kim Possible gave us empowerment, proving an ordinary teenager could save the world, handle high school drama, and tackle every mission without losing her cool. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody gave us escapist fun, turning a luxurious hotel into a chaotic high energy playground of twin mischief. Hannah Montana gave us fantasy, delivering the ultimate double life dream when an ordinary girl could be a global pop superstar just by putting a blonde wig on. Witches of Waverly Place gave us family, wrapping sibling rivalry and domestic chaos in a brilliant magical sitcom wrapper. Phineas and Ferb gave us imagination, turning every single day of summer vacation into an ingenious, endlessly repeatable masterpiece of invention. These shows were not just entertaining, they were the emotional foundation of a generation. Now, a great television lineup is only part of the story. Disney Channel wasn't simply producing television, it was manufacturing pop culture itself. The network understood something many competitors were only beginning to realize. If audiences fell in love with the character, they would also follow the people who played them. Now, look at the extraordinary roster. Raven Simone, Hilary Duff, The Cheetah Girls, High School Musical, Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Camp Rock. This was a multi-front cultural phenomenon. Disney Channel wasn't just a TV network, it was simultaneously a record label, concert promoter, merchandising engine, and a talent incubator. When a project dropped, many of those soundtracks climbed the Billboard charts, while the artists themselves became some of the biggest young pop stars of the era. Arenas sold out in minutes. The network mastered the art of vertical integration, ensuring that the music children loved on screen followed them onto their stereos, into their bedroom posters, and straight into the fabric of their everyday lives. Now, a powerhouse lineup requires a remarkable talent incubator, and Disney Channel possessed one of the greatest in entertainment history. At the center were performers who went on to shape global pop culture, launching their careers from the network lot into international superstardom. Around them, Disney Channel fostered a sense of community through massive crossover events. Long before cinematic universes dominated box offices, Disney Channel created its own version with Disney Channel games, studio crossover episodes, and shared network events. Seeing characters from different shows interact in athletic competitions or special holiday programming made the network feel like one giant cohesive universe. The result was that Disney Channel no longer felt like a collection of separate shows, it felt like one complete, cohesive, living world. Now, all great eras eventually face a changing landscape. As time moved forward, streaming services, YouTube, and digital platforms transformed how viewing habits operated. The appointment television model began to shift towards on demand access. The network adapted, launching Disney Plus and finding new ways to reach audiences in a digital world. Yet the foundational impact of those cable years remained entirely unique, representing a specific period of media consumption that could never quite be replicated in the exact same ways. Now, What a time to be alive. It was one of the greatest times. Now, this chapter isn't about Disney Channel, it's about what disappeared. Think about the ritual of it all. Racing home before 7:30 just to make sure you didn't miss the cold open, checking the TV guide or the on-screen schedule like it was sacred text, knowing that thousands of other kids around the country were watching the exact same premiere at the exact same second, experiencing the exact same plot twist and laughing at the exact same jokes. Commercial breaks that gave you just enough time to scream about what was happening before rushing back to the couch. And then walking into school the next morning where last night's episode was the universal currency of the playground and cafeteria. When television became on demand, we gained endless convenience, but we lost the campfire. We lost the shared rhythm of waiting all week for a single half-hour block of television that belonged exclusively to us and our friends. Disney Channel didn't just raise a generation through its shows. It raised a generation because everyone watched those shows together at the exact same times. That shared cadence of childhood is what made the network truly, truly, truly unforgettable. Now, when you step back and look at the full arc of Disney Channel, you realize it accomplished something rare in entertainment history. It did not just entertain a decade of kids. It influenced fashion, music, comedy, and childhood memories around the entire world. Friendly television could achieve genuine cultural resonance. More than that, what today's modern entertainment landscape inherited is the blueprint of total vertical integration. While other networks experimented with cross promotion, Disney Channel helped write the modern playbook by demonstrating how effectively a youth network could simultaneously function as a record label, a concert promoter, a merchandising titan, a movie studio, and a premier talent incubator. Long before modern multi-platform franchises became standard corporate strategy, Disney Channel proved that a successful franchise could explode across billboards, stadium tours, bedroom posters, and retail shelves all at once. It didn't just launch individual careers, it helped write the playbook for how youth pop culture is built, marketed, and sustained. Now, somewhere there is still a DVR recording with commercials you never deleted, a faded Disney Channel backpack in the back of a closet, a DVD of your favorite Disney Channel original movie, and somewhere someone still instinctively draws Mickey ears in the air when they hear the words. You're watching Disney Channel. Parents taught us how to live, teachers taught us how to learn, friends taught us who we wanted to be, but somewhere in between, Disney Channel quietly became part of an entire generation's childhood. Not perfectly, no, not alone, but for one remarkable generation, it always seemed to be there when we got home from school. Headlines fade, culture lasts, and there is always more to the story.